This video is on obstructive sleep apnea, and the way you can tell if you have obstructive sleep apnea is if you snore, um, if you feel like you wake up a lot at night and you really don't want to, 4 or 5, 6 times or more, you may have sleep apnea. If you feel like you stop breathing altogether and you're just sleeping, you're dreaming, and you feel like you're drowning, and you literally know you're not breathing anymore, and you kind of wake up and you snap out of it, that's probably obstructive sleep apnea. And then um, the other thing is if you're not well rested. So if you wake up a lot or you're just sleeping a lot of hours, but you don't feel like you're well rested when you wake up and throughout the day, you always feel tired. That could be sleep apnea as well. And the thing to do is go to your ear, nose, and throat doctor and explain your symptoms, and then he will give you a sleep test. So what he'll do is he'll give you, usually they give at home sleep studies. They call it a sleep study, and so they give you certain equipment that it's not even that difficult really. There's some equipment. The one thing you put in your nose a little bit, and you put another thing on your finger, and you have these little electrodes, and you connect it to a machine. They let you borrow, and you sleep. And basically, when you sleep, it goes through and it can tell whether you have any kind of apnea, and that information is then uploaded to the doctor. It's pretty easy. They give you the instructions. Now, once you get past that, the doctor will then give you the results, and he'll tell you whether you need to go any further with it if your sleep problems are a result of sleep apnea. And if they are a result of sleep apnea, then you go and the doctor will prescribe CPAP. And CPAP is a mask that goes over your nose and mouth, and there's a machine that basically forces air into your airway, and it's really strong, like a real strong amount of air. It's supposed to force the airway to stay open, and that's what the air does. Um, so that's one intervention. For me, I found it was much too forceful, and I couldn't breathe at all. I definitely couldn't exhale at all. The mask would just puff up when I tried to exhale, and it wouldn't allow me to let air out. So I literally couldn't breathe. So then the next intervention would be BiPAP, and then BiPAP is tremendously better than CPAP in my opinion, just for me personally. And what that does is it's like CPAP, and then it pushes a bunch of air into your system at a certain pressure, like pushes pressurized air into your system to keep the airway open. But it also senses when you're trying to exhale. When it senses an exhalation, it will diminish, like it won't push air in anymore for just a little bit, and then it will push air in again once you finish exhaling. The problem I found with that is that it's hard to sync with your actual breathing because it kind of pushes the air in too soon or too late. It doesn't really, it's not very intelligent as to when you're actually trying to inhale or exhale. So you really have to try to get your body to adapt to it. And but it works much better than CPAP in my opinion, just for me. But the problem was I couldn't get it to sync very well, and I also would end up taking my mask off. I'd have trouble breathing, and there were always spaces in the mask where you have to have a perfection seal. The seal has to be absolutely perfect around your face and nose, or it'll make a little yellow beep and won't work, and it's a nightmare. So, but you can make it work if you're good at it. If you work at it and you continue to try, I think you can kind of make it work, but it just didn't work for me because I kept taking my mask off without even knowing it in the middle of the night, and I would still wake up all the time, and I still wasn't getting good sleep. So then, if that intervention doesn't work, the next intervention would be to go back, get another sleep study, and then um, have a sleep expert, like talk to a sleep expert about possibly trying the Inspire implant. There's another implant, but I can't remember the name. But I'm just giving information on Inspire. So that new sleep doctor will be like, I think their practice is just sleep. Like they're not a ear, nose, and throat person. They're just a sleep expert. So then they evaluate all your information, all the sleep studies you took, and usually take like 4 or 5 by that time. And they evaluate everything, and they decide whether you're definitely not able to make it work with the mask solution. And then what that doctor will do is they'll talk to the ENT, and they'll talk to the insurance company and try to get or try to explain what's going on and see if the ENT is okay with starting the process of doing the Inspire. If the ENT is good with what the sleep doctor says, then the ENT will start the process of the Inspire. And then to qualify for the Inspire, you have to have an endoscopy. I think it's called endoscopy. And what that is, they do surgery, they put you out, and they check all your whole system in terms of your breathing, and they determine what the actual obstruction is. So if the obstruction is the tongue falling back into your throat, then the Inspire is right for you. If the obstruction is the tonsils, they'll probably take the tonsils out. If the obstruction is your airway closing in, then that's a different thing. You don't qualify for Inspire. So that's the first. This is part one. So this is just covering the part of leading up to the Inspire implant. And this is for people who think they have apnea or are not sure and are first entering the process of looking into apnea and solving their apnea. So, and this is just all my experience. I'm not a doctor by any stretch, and I'm not an expert or anything. I'm just giving my personal experience. So your experience may be better. You might be great with CPAP. So I think CPAP is the first thing now, and then BiPAP, but CPAP doesn't work. But that, you know, if you're good with CPAP, then life is good. Then go with it. it you know. So thanks for listening.